Hey guys, what's going on? Blaine back for another Netflix review, and today I'm going to be talking about Headspace's Unwind Your Mind. Unwind Your Mind is the third and I believe final collaboration to take place between Netflix and Headspace, in which the two companies over the past half year have worked together to produce series that promote mental health awareness as well as the practice of meditation. The first two series that Headspace released concern the subjects of meditation and sleep. The first half of each episode in either series would be dedicated to information and talking about a specific topic relating to either subject that happened to be talked about, and then the last half of each episode would be dedicated to putting a technique into practice that they may have learned in that particular episode. You get a choice of three options when you start up the program. The first option is Meditate, which is hosted once again by Adam, who's returning from the Guide to Meditation series. Meditate works more or less the same way as it did in Guide to Meditation. It's just presented differently because it's an interactive format this time around. You get a choice between overwhelmed, stressed, and agitated, and the exercises that you do vary depending on which option you pick, and then you have to choose a time interval that you want to do the exercises for, say 3, 5, or 10 minutes. If you pick the relax option, you get a more muted presentation that's similar to Guide to Sleep if you happen to watch that series, and Eve returns from that series once again to provide the narrations and help out with the exercises in the relax section. Just like with the meditate section, there are three choices that you can pick from in the relax section. There's anxious, agitated, and stressed, and the exercises that you do vary a little bit depending on which one you choose, along with the fact that each of them have preset time intervals. The sleep section is definitely the most unique part of the program. It's kind of similar to techniques you may have learned in Guide to Sleep, but it's taken way up a notch. I'm not sure who narrated this section, I just know that it's neither Andy or Eve, since the narrator here had an American accent. But anyway, you're given a choice of one of 4 scenarios, and then the narrator basically reads that scenario out loud to you for 45 minutes. Sadly, I do not have enough time in my day to listen to all 4 stories play out, so I went with the one that resonated with me the most, which was the aquarium one. And honestly, even though I was watching in broad daylight and didn't see all of it, I was surprised that I was able to nod off once or twice while watching it, which is a true testament to how effective the exercises are. Aside from the sleep stories, however, and I'm probably going to be a bit controversial when I say this, but there's just not a whole lot to say about this program, and that's due to the fact that there's not a lot of content in it to begin with. It's not that it's a bad program per se, it's still presented very well, but it is severely lacking in content and substance and just doesn't have the same production value behind it compared to Guide to Meditation and Guide to Sleep. If you've seen Guides to Meditation and Sleep, then you've pretty much already seen this program. So if you're like me and you wanted to see Headspace take more advantage of its interactive format, you're going to come off very disappointed while watching this. Again, it's not necessarily that this is a bad program per se. It does its job that it's designed to do very well. It plays out more like a mental workout plan that comes with your Netflix subscription, and the idea is that you check in once a day or however many times you want to go, and then you do the exercises that you're supposed to do, and you're given a streak badge that shows how many times you've meditated over a week or a month or however many days. Though to be honest, I can't imagine anyone wanting to check into this program once a day when they can just sit on the couch or their bed by themselves and do whatever meditation they're supposed to do. This is especially so if you're like me and you had a lot of technical difficulties trying to get this program set up from the outset. I like to watch shows and movies on my PS4. That's my #1 go-to device to watch anything on my big screen TV. But for some reason, when I was trying to get Unwind Your Mind set up, I had a lot of issues trying to get it started. For some reason, in the trailer that I was able to view for it on my PS4, Andy gave a narration in the short trailer just simply saying that my device that I wasn't using, my PS4 in this case, was not compatible with Unwind Your Mind. And that made no sense to me. How is an interactive program not compatible with an interactive game console? Like, what? So that bugged me a little bit, but then I cooled off a bit and said, well, fair enough. Maybe they're having some sort of technical difficulties on their end. Launch isn't easy for everyone, especially if it's an interactive show. So fair enough, I'll move on to another device. So I tried to watch it on my smart TV, which is compatible with a variety of apps, Netflix included. And wouldn't you know, I wasn't able to play the show on there either. In the trailer I was able to watch on Netflix on my incompatible devices, it specifically said that I could watch on a games console, which my PS4 is, or I could watch on a smart TV, which is my TV I have right beside me is. Both of them should be compatible, yet for whatever reason, they're not able to play the program. It wasn't until I went to my last resort, which is my laptop computer that I use specifically for video editing, that I was finally able to load up Unwind Your Mind as planned, and I was able to proceed with the program program as normal, and it just made such an unnecessary headache for me for two reasons. Number one, doing Headspace exercises on a laptop computer is far from being an ideal situation, at least in my opinion. It just doesn't have the same feeling and quality behind it compared to a big screen version. Second, and this is a pretty simple point, it's not compatible with as many devices as it says it is. If Netflix was going to go to the effort of advertising this program to as many people as possible and as many devices as possible, then they should have communicated to its customers about what devices would not be compatible. And who knows, maybe I'm just whining and complaining and Netflix will have this all sorted out in a couple days, or at least in the near future. But as it stands now, it seems very weird to me that Netflix would ignore something as mainstream as a PS4. Overall, Unwind Your Mind is okay, but there's not that much point to it. You're pretty much better off watching the other two series that Headspace has already released and then meditating in your own spare time as opposed to following along in this program's schedule. If you're a hardcore Headspace enthusiast, or you're someone who feels the need to have their mental exercises strictly regimented, I suppose I could see someone making use out of this program. For me though, I just don't see myself getting any use out of this program. The sleep stories are interesting to a point, but there's just not enough else there to keep me invested in the long run. Anyways guys, that's going to wrap up my review of Unwind Your Mind. Thanks for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it, and as always stay tuned for the next part, where next time I review the Russian period drama, Silver Skates. Bye bye!